Hello, and my name is David Bailey. I'm Director of Carmel Research School and also Director of Research and Development at Bishop Hogarth Catholic Education Trust. First thing is do plan for a second wave or for a local lockdown, and that means planning for children who will be in school and out of school and potentially some of both at each time. Don't expect as many pupils as in school as before. The likelihood is that you've probably got around 95% of your children normally attend if you've got an average school. That might not be the case. There are more cases of anxiety, and with people being partly in school and partly out of school, or perhaps tied up by restrictions around them and their movements, that might well be much higher. So it might be 10% or more. Don't just try and teach it quicker. Probably the worst thing you could do with the time you've got left is to try and get through everything as quickly as you can. Rather, it is much better to have areas of focus. So do have agreed key areas of focus across the school. Decide what those are. My suggestions are that those are likely to be focused around factual knowledge recall, checking that, make sure the children have got the basic facts. Focus on the use and the application of knowledge in familiar contexts, and also having a look at something that's unfamiliar as well and pushing them into those. Don't rely on tuition to resolve all of your issues. So if children have access to tuition, all well and good. But bear in mind that the tutors may need some training and support. They're not likely to get exactly what it is that the children have missed each time, and there may be other gaps, so plan for that in your teaching. Do use common formats, so think about how things might be used in multiple platforms. So for example, an A4 portrait piece of paper is great for a printed worksheet, but is much less accessible if you're trying to use it on a laptop. So if you use it in a landscape, it has additional usage. So do think about the format that you send your work out in. Obviously, I'm not saying go back and recreate everything, but just bear in mind that as you develop things to send out or to use in class, that is a more portable format. And linked to that is do use a kind of common planning framework. So thinking about working collaboratively with colleagues and thinking about sharing at the same process for children who will be in school and will be out of school, who have access to technology and those don't, so that they're getting broadly the same content experience and asked to do broadly the same things with their brains, not necessarily exactly the same format. So this is one from the EEF, and you can see the link at the bottom that you can use to download this and other resources. Do explore flipped learning. So the flipped learning model, the evidence is a little out there in terms of whether it works. As far as we can tell though, it's unlikely to do any harm. And in case you're not familiar with the flipped learning model, the idea is that children come to school or come to a lesson, whether in school or otherwise, better prepared. So they have a lot of filling in the background knowledge. So their homework is focused on filling in gaps in knowledge or to kind of get a background before they actually begin, rather than actually giving consolidation homework, which is using the learning they've had in class. Do increase access to suitable technology. So there are lots of children who have access to great technology, but some households have very limited access to the right kind of tech that you need. So think about in your planning, making sure that it's accessible across a range of platforms. What you don't want to have to do is find that children need a phone and a laptop and lots of different things. You want to be able to do whatever it is on whichever device you've got access to. Don't leave CPD to the bottom of the pile. It's very tempting with all of this, with all these other things going through people's minds, but professional learning is really important, and the right professional learning can help get through all of those other issues just that little bit better, because you might save some time and techniques a little later on. And finally, don't forget to work on effective teacher-pupil relationships. With the pressure on time, everybody might be tempted just to press on and push on regardless. Children have had a very different experience than almost any children that we've had beforehand. So this is a multi-generational, unique experience. Similarly with teachers as well, we're all in unusual circumstances, and it's really important that we acknowledge that. Don't lower our expectations, but really do acknowledge the fact that this is going to be hard for some. And there's a book which is very helpful to help you and think about the way in which relationships work, and it's great for parents who are struggling too. And there's that link to the EEF COVID-19 resources as well. I'd encourage you to look at those because there's plenty of useful advice on there too. Thanks for listening. Hope that was useful. Please do get in touch and we look forward to hearing from you.